Every year, thousands of people vanish without a trace. Some leave their home and never return. Others disappear in the middle of a road, in the forest, or even in places surrounded by dozens of people. Sometimes personal belongings are left behind. A car, a phone, a bicycle, a final CCTV frame. But the person themselves is gone. Some of these stories are world famous. Others, almost no one has ever heard of. Today we're going to talk about these very disappearances. Strange, inexplicable, and to this day, unsolved. And the scariest part about these stories isn't even that people disappeared. It's that decades later, we still don't know where they went. Welcome to History Time. If you enjoy this kind of content, please support the channel with a like and a subscription. Now, get comfortable and enjoy the show. Trevelyan Evans, June 16, 1990, Llangollen, North Wales. 52-year-old Trevelyan Evans opened her antique shop, Attic Antiques, at around 9:30 in the morning. The day began entirely as usual. Customers and acquaintances walked into the shop. Trevelyan appeared calm, chatted with people, and even made plans for the evening. No one could have guessed that a few hours later, she would disappear without a trace. At around 12:40 p.m., Trevelyan stepped out of the shop. On the door, she left a note, "Back in 2 minutes." She did not take her handbag, coat, or car keys with her. Her car remained parked nearby. Trevelyan simply intended to step out briefly. At around 1 p.m., she bought an apple and a banana at a nearby shop. After that, she was spotted several times in various parts of Llangollen. However, this is where the confusion begins. Some witnesses were certain they saw Trevelyan. Others spoke only of a woman matching her description. At around 2:30 p.m., she was reliably seen for the last time near her home on Market Street. After that, the trail went cold. Yet there is one puzzling detail. When police inspected her shop, her handbag, credit cards, car keys, and coat were all inside. There were also flowers she intended to take home, and in the bin they found a banana peel. This raised a crucial question. Did she return to the shop after buying the fruit? If so, why did she leave again? And where did she go? Police launched a large-scale search. They searched the River Dee, the canal, mines, caves, and the surrounding countryside. More than 1,500 people were interviewed, and around 700 vehicles were eliminated from the investigation. Yet Trevelyan was nowhere to be found. Her bank accounts were never used following her disappearance. Her car remained right where it was. Her documents and most of her personal belongings were left behind at home or in the shop. It appeared that Trevelyan had vanished with virtually nothing. In 2001, the investigation entered a new phase. Police officially reclassified the case from a missing person investigation to a murder inquiry. Trevelyan's husband, Richard, was arrested that same year, but was later released without charge. No evidence pointing to his involvement ever surfaced. Investigators also explored a potential connection to serial killer Robin Liggis and later to Christopher Halliwell. However, neither of these theories were ever proven. In 2019, an even more unusual lead emerged. Two brothers claimed to police that, using a specialized camera, they had detected possible human remains under the grounds of the Rudlin Golf Club and believed it could be Trevelyan's body. Police excavated the site. Nothing was found. The brothers suggested the remains might have been moved before the search began, but no evidence was found to support this claim. Later, mysterious messages appeared on benches near Prestatyn. They claimed that Trevelyan's remains had allegedly been found near the golf club and subsequently relocated. Who left these messages remains unknown. Police never confirmed their authenticity. Most importantly, Trevelyan Evans has still not been found. In 2026, her name continues to be listed among the cold cases of North Wales Police. The police officially mark 1990 as the year of her disappearance. She walked out of her shop in the middle of an ordinary day, left a note on the door promising to be back in 2 minutes. Her handbag, keys, and car were left behind. The last confirmed witness saw her around 2:30, and after that, nothing. More than 35 years have passed. To this day, it remains unknown where Trevelyan went after those 2 minutes, and why she never returned. The Springfield 3, June 7th, 1992, Springfield, Missouri. The previous evening, 18-year-old Stacy McCall and 19-year-old Susie Streeter were celebrating their high school graduation. After attending several graduation parties, the girls decided to spend the night at Susie's home, where she lived with her mother, Cheryl Levitt. Cheryl was 47 years old. Around 2 a.m., the girls arrived home. After that moment, no one ever saw them or Cheryl again. In the morning, Stacy's father came to pick up his daughter, but she wasn't there. He immediately knew something was wrong. The family dog was inside the house. The cars were still parked in the garage and driveway. Inside were the purses, keys, money, clothes, and other personal belongings of all 3 women. Nothing suggested they were planning to leave, yet the women themselves were gone. And strangest of all, there were virtually no signs of a struggle inside the house. Police established an estimated window for the disappearance between 2:15 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. 3 people vanished from a single home in a matter of hours, without a note, without a phone call, without taking any of their belongings, without an obvious crime scene. Police launched a massive search. They scoured the streets, fields, forests, and bodies of water around Springfield. Volunteers, tracking dogs, and other law enforcement agencies joined the effort. Photographs of the 3 women appeared on flyers and in newspapers, yet the search yielded no results. After a while, the first puzzling leads began to surface. Witnesses reported a suspicious van that was allegedly seen near the house on the night of the disappearance. Investigators looked into this lead, but it did not lead to the women. As the years went on, the investigation continued. Police received thousands of tips. In 2002, investigators searched the grounds of a concrete company following information about a green van. Cadaver dogs were deployed, and human bones were uncovered, but forensic testing determined they were too old to belong to any of the missing women. In 2003, the investigation led to a farm south of Cassville. Excavations were carried out on several plots of land, revealing potential blood traces and an auto part resembling a piece of a green van. However, the blood analysis proved inconclusive. Every new lead ended the same way: hope, a search, and once again, nothing. In 2007, another theory emerged. suggesting the bodies might be buried under a hospital parking garage. The area was surveyed using ground-penetrating radar, yet this theory too provided no answers. Years passed, then decades. Stacy was supposed to go on and live a normal life after graduation. Susie was just entering adulthood. Cheryl was working and building her life in her home. Instead, their story came to a sudden halt in a single night. Today, the official status remains unchanged. 3 women vanished from a home in Springfield and have never been found. The FBI continues to publish information about the case, appealing to the public for any information that could assist the investigation. More than 34 years have passed, yet there is one detail in this story that is particularly chilling. If these 3 women fell victim to a crime, the perpetrator somehow managed to remove them from the house, and did so in a way that left their cars, keys, money, purses, and virtually their entire daily lives behind in the morning. Nothing essential remained, only an empty house. 3 people disappeared at the exact same time, and to this day, no one knows where they went that night, or who came to them. Disappearance across a few blocks. June 13th, 2001. Omaha, Nebraska. 19-year-old Jason Jolkowski was supposed to go to work. His car was in the shop, so he arranged to meet a coworker near Benson High School, the school he used to attend. The coworker was going to pick him up from there and drive him to work. The plan was simple. Jason leaves his house, walks to the school, and gets into the car. But he never made it to the school. According to data from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Jason was last seen on June 13, 2001, as he was leaving his home in Omaha. He was heading on foot toward Benson High School, where his coworker was supposed to meet him. She waited. Jason wasn't there. At first, it might have looked like a simple case of running late, but as time passed and he failed to show up, it quickly became clear the young man had vanished. And here begins the central mystery. Investigators have a starting point where Jason was last seen, his own home. There is a destination he was heading to, Benson High School. There is a person who was supposed to meet him there. But between these points, there is no answer to the main question. What happened to him along the way? Jason never arrived at the meeting point and has not been reliably spotted since. There is no confirmed information that he ever reached the school, left town, or met with anyone else. Police launched a search. Information about Jason was released to the public and entered into national missing persons databases. However, the investigation yielded no answers. No witness came forward who could reliably describe where Jason went after leaving his house. No location was found that could be confidently identified as the final point on his route. Nor did any evidence emerge to establish what exactly transpired. There were several theories. Jason could have fallen victim to a crime. If this occurred shortly after he left home, the lack of witnesses and physical evidence would have made the investigation extraordinarily difficult. Another theory was an accident. Theoretically, he could have sustained an injury or ended up in a location that was never linked to his disappearance. Finally, there remains the theory of a voluntary departure. But there are no confirmed details that would explain such an act. None of the theories was backed by evidence. 1 year passed, then 5, 10, 20, yet Jason never returned. the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children still publishes his photograph and details about the case. Jason disappeared at 19 years old. Today, he would be 45. An age-progressed image has been created for him, showing how he might look as an adult. His nickname is JJ. NCMEC. Case number 992083. Date of disappearance, June 13th, 2001. Location, Omaha, Nebraska. The last confirmed information remains unchanged. Jason walked out of his home and set off toward the school to meet his coworker. He never arrived. It is this complete absence of clues that makes the case so baffling. No confirmed location where his path ended. No established final encounter. No body ever found. No answers. More than 25 years later, Jason Jolkowski is still listed as a missing person. And the central question remains the same. What happened to 19-year-old Jason after he stepped out of his own home? He only had to walk a few blocks, yet it was along that short stretch that his trail vanished completely. Connor and Sheila Dwyer, April 30th, 1991. Fermoy, County Cork, Ireland. Connor Dwyer and his wife Sheila stepped out of St. Patrick's Church near their home. It was the last confirmed sighting of the couple. Connor was 62 years old. Sheila was about to celebrate her 60th birthday in May. They lived a quiet life and were well known in the small town. The following day, Sheila called her sister. The conversation was routine. Then, silence. On May 19th, Sheila's birthday, her sister tried to reach her by phone. Nobody answered. Soon after, relatives went to the house. The house was empty. On May 22nd, the disappearance was reported to the police. It was the inspection of the home that made this case particularly strange. Connor and Sheila's passports were lying inside. Also inside were around 1,000 Irish pounds in cash, a significant sum at the time. Nothing in the house appeared overturned. There were no signs of a struggle. Only a small amount of clothing was missing. But one very important thing was gone. Their car. A white 1978 or 1979 Toyota Cressida, registration number 5797ZT. The vehicle had vanished along with the couple. Police notified Irish ports to prevent the car from being quietly taken out of the country. But no confirmed reports ever emerged that the Toyota had left Ireland. The car was never re-registered to another owner, and it has never been officially found since. Investigators explored various theories. The couple could have left voluntarily, but that raises the question, why leave behind their passports and a large sum of cash? If they fell victim to a crime, where did the attack take place? And above all, where did the car go? The River Blackwater, which flows through Fermoy, was repeatedly searched by Garda divers. Various regions of Ireland were checked, and certain leads even took investigators abroad. Yet neither Connor nor Sheila nor their car was ever found. There is another strange detail to this story. 14 months before the Dwyers disappeared, a local businessman named William Fennessy went missing in the same town. He too vanished along with his vehicle. His car was discovered only in 2012, at the bottom of the River Blackwater. His remains were inside. However, police never established a connection between the disappearance of Fennessy and that of the Dwyers. 10 years passed, 20, 30, but the case did not fade away. In 2024, the Gardaí renewed their appeal for the public to come forward with any information regarding the white Toyota Cressida. Police stated directly that locating the vehicle could be the key to solving the mystery. And in April 2026, 35 years after the disappearance, the Gardaí launched another public appeal. The investigation remains open and active. Today, the core mystery seems almost unbelievably simple. 2 people disappeared after a routine trip to church. Their passports remained at home. Around £1,000 remained at home. Most of their belongings remained at home, but their car vanished. And in 35 years, it has never been found. Which is why the central question in this case is very simple. Where did the white Toyota Cressida with registration number 5797ZT drive off to? And what happened to Connor and Sheila Dwyer after they were last seen together? Perhaps that very car is still holding the answer. Michael Negrete, December 10th, 1999, Los Angeles. 18-year-old Michael Negrete was a freshman at UCLA, living in Dykstra Hall. He was studying music, played the trumpet, and was doing well academically. Late that evening, Michael attended a party in his dorm. Afterward, he returned to his 6th-floor room and turned on a computer game. He played over the campus network with a friend located in another room. At around 3:40 a.m., the game ended. Michael stepped out of his room to say goodbye to his friend. They high-fived before Michael turned and walked back toward his room. That was the last time anyone reliably saw him. His roommate was asleep at the time. By morning, Michael was nowhere to be found in the room. Michael failed to show up for a music ensemble rehearsal and missed a performance where he was scheduled to play. For his family, this was completely out of character. When police inspected the room, the first peculiarity emerged. Michael had taken virtually nothing with him. His wallet, keys, and shoes were all left behind in the room. If he intended to go somewhere, why would he leave behind the bare essentials? Police began combing the campus. They searched the residence hall, the surrounding grounds, construction sites, and even the building's trash chute. Yet they found nothing. No signs of a struggle, no blood, no body. Later, an unusual lead surfaced. A tracking dog followed Michael's scent through the campus and toward a bus stop. It appeared he might have left the university grounds. However, the scent trail vanished. Investigators later concluded the dog's trail could not be fully relied upon, as it may have picked up another scent or lost the initial one. Then things became even stranger. On the night of the disappearance, an unfamiliar man in his 30s was allegedly seen in the dormitory. Police attempted to determine his identity, yet the man was never found. Officially, he was never designated as a suspect. The investigation dragged on for months. Detectives interviewed students, explored various theories, and researched the campus grounds. No results. In 2001, the Los Angeles Times reported that investigators had found virtually no conventional clues that could point the investigation in a clear direction. Detectives consulted with a criminal profiler. According to one assessment,
someone among those already interviewed might have known more than they were telling. Proving that, however, was impossible. Years passed. Michael Negrete never reappeared. His parents continued searching for answers and offered a large reward for information regarding his whereabouts. Today, the official California Department of Justice Missing Persons database still lists Michael as missing. Date of disappearance: December 10, 1999. And that is precisely where the core mystery lies. Michael did not disappear in the wilderness, in the mountains, or in the middle of the ocean. He vanished from a university dormitory surrounded by hundreds of people. He was last seen around 4 a.m. He took no money, keys, or other essentials with him. No one saw him leave the building. The unidentified man was never tracked down. The tracking dog's trail led to a bus stop, but offered no answers. And after that, complete silence. More than 26 years have passed. There is no confirmed location where Michael was seen after that night. No body ever found. No explanation. There is only a brief sequence of events. A computer game, a few steps down the hallway, a farewell to a friend, and an empty room in the morning. What happened to Michael Negrete between those two moments?
Lars Mittank, July 8, 2014, Varna, Bulgaria. 28-year-old German national Lars Mittank traveled to Bulgaria with friends. They were vacationing at the Golden Sands Resort and intended to return home together. However, a few days before their flight, an altercation occurred. Lars received a blow to the ear, after which a doctor diagnosed him with a ruptured eardrum and advised him against flying. His friends returned home, leaving Lars behind in Bulgaria alone. He checked into a hotel in Varna, where his behavior soon became erratic. Lars walked through the hallways, peered out of windows, and left the hotel multiple times during the night. He called his mother, telling her that someone was following him and that several individuals posed a threat to his safety. Police never found any evidence of a threat or stalkers. On July 8th, Lars went to Varna Airport to be evaluated before attempting to fly home. Airport security cameras captured him in the terminal. He appeared relatively calm and carried his luggage and documents. Lars then met with a physician, Dr. Kosta Kostov. The doctor examined him and determined that Lars was fit to fly. Minutes later, something unexpected happened. A construction worker walked into the office. Lars's demeanor suddenly shifted. He began acting nervously, then abruptly leaped to his feet and ran out of the room. He left everything behind: his passport, his phone, his wallet, his money, his luggage. The strange part was that he had no reason to flee. The plane had not departed, and the doctor had given him clearance to fly. Yet Lars ran straight out of the airport building. Surveillance cameras continued to track him. He moved quickly through the airport grounds, ran toward the perimeter fence, climbed over it, and headed toward a nearby wooded area. Within seconds, Lars vanished from the camera's line of sight. It was the last confirmed sighting of him. Police launched a search almost immediately. They scoured the area around the airport, as well as nearby roads, fields, and forests. Yet Lars was nowhere to be found, neither alive nor dead. None of his personal items were ever recovered outside the airport grounds. In the years that followed, reports surfaced from people claiming to have spotted Lars in various locations, but none of these sightings could be reliably confirmed. One leading theory focuses on his mental state. Following the injury, intense stress, and potential side effects from medication, Lars may have suffered an acute psychological or neurological episode. He might have become disoriented, panicked, and run into the surrounding terrain. There is another theory, however. Perhaps Lars was indeed running from someone. The issue remains that investigators have never been able to identify who that might have been. This is precisely why the airport security footage became famous. It offers a direct look at the final minutes before his disappearance. We see him enter the airport. We see his consultation with the doctor. We see him suddenly bolt. We see him climb over the perimeter fence. And then the camera loses him. That is all. More than 10 years have passed. Lars Mittank remains missing. His family continues to hold out hope for information about his fate. The most chilling aspect of this story is not simply the disappearance itself, but the fact that Lars's final moments were almost completely captured on film. We know where he was. We know which direction he ran. We know that he abandoned everything he owned. Yet the central mystery remains unanswered. What happened in the moment Lars suddenly decided to run? And where did he vanish to after he disappeared from the camera's view? Noriko Tsujide, November 24th, 1998, Ise, Mie Prefecture, Japan. Noriko Tsujide was 24 years old. She worked as an editor and journalist for a local publishing company, Ise Bunkasha. Interested in travel, photography, and people's stories, journalism was more than just a job for her. On that day, Noriko had just returned from a trip to Thailand and stayed late at work. At around 11 p.m., she left the publishing house building. She never returned home. The next day, Noriko failed to show up for work. A search was launched. A short time later, police found her car, a dark blue Nissan March. It was parked about a kilometer from her workplace. From the outside, the vehicle appeared completely normal. Inside, however, details emerged that made the case far more mysterious. Noriko was a non-smoker, yet a cigarette was found inside the cabin. The driver's seat was pushed back further than usual, a position inconsistent with her height, and the car radio was switched off, even though Noriko routinely left it on. It appeared that someone else may have moved the vehicle. But where was Noriko herself? Investigators soon turned their attention to a man Noriko knew through her work as a journalist. On the day of her disappearance, he had called her several times. According to investigators, Noriko may have met him near the parking lot before leaving the publishing office. The man himself later claimed that Noriko got into his car. They allegedly talked about her work for about an hour, after which he dropped her off at a spot near the coast. According to him, Noriko then walked away alone. That remains the final account of what took place. Police viewed his statement with suspicion. The man was later arrested in an unrelated case, suspected of kidnapping and unlawfully detaining another woman. However, the court found him not guilty. Following his acquittal, he promised to reveal everything he knew about Noriko. That never happened. He subsequently refused to give further testimony regarding her disappearance. This gave rise to one of the central mysteries of the case. If Noriko did indeed drive away with him, what happened after their conversation? Her body was never found. Her car was recovered, but with no obvious signs of a struggle inside. The exact location where she ended up after that final encounter remains unknown. Over the years of investigation, various theories have surfaced. There were speculations about a potential kidnapping, links to her investigative journalism work, and even theories involving North Korea. Yet no evidence emerged to support these assumptions. That is why the police continue to appeal to the public. In November 2025, 27 years after her disappearance, Noriko's parents once again participated in an awareness drive. Police distributed flyers with her photograph to residents of Ise, asking for even the smallest piece of information. Noriko vanished on a routine work night. She stepped out of the publishing house around 11 p.m. The following day, her car was found. Inside was someone else's cigarette. The seat was pushed back. The radio was turned off. But Noriko was gone. More than 2 decades have passed, and there is still no answer. Who sat behind the wheel of her car? Where did Noriko vanish after that final meeting? And most importantly, if someone truly knows what happened that night in Ise, why have they remained silent all this time?
Madeleine McCann, May 3rd, 2007, Praia da Luz, Portugal. 3-year-old Madeleine McCann arrived in Portugal with her parents and 2 younger siblings. The family stayed at the Ocean Club Resort Complex. That evening, Madeleine's parents dined with friends at a restaurant within the resort complex. The children were in an apartment nearby. The parents checked on them periodically. At around 10 p.m., Madeleine's mother returned to the bedroom. The bed was empty. The 3-year-old girl was missing. At first, her parents thought she might have wandered into her brother's room, but Madeleine was nowhere to be found. Panic set in. Her parents rushed out of the apartment and began searching for their daughter throughout the resort complex. Friends, hotel staff, and local residents quickly joined the search. Police arrived shortly after the disappearance was reported. However, the initial hours of the investigation proved critical. The area around the apartment was not immediately sealed off as a full crime scene. Dozens of people entered and exited the premises. Investigators later faced a massive volume of witness accounts that were difficult to verify. One of the early mysteries involved the bedroom window. The parents reported that the window was open and the shutters were raised. Yet it remained unknown whether someone had actually broken into the room through the window or if Madeleine had disappeared by other means. A large-scale search began. Police scoured the streets, vacant lots, beaches, and the surroundings of Praia da Luz. Search dogs, helicopters, and divers were deployed. Madeleine's photograph was circulated worldwide. Thousands of people called the police, reporting alleged sightings of the girl. Witnesses emerged claiming to have seen a child in various parts of Europe. However, none of these reports yielded confirmed results. Madeleine had vanished without a trace. She was never found. In 2011, British police launched their own investigation, Operation Grange. Initially a review of the Portuguese investigation materials, it eventually evolved into a full-scale joint investigation with Portuguese and German authorities. A few years later, a new main suspect emerged, German national Christian Bruckner. He lived in the Algarve at the time of Madeline's disappearance. German prosecutors declared that they believed Madeline to be dead and suspected Bruckner in connection with her disappearance. However, he denies any involvement, and no formal charges regarding Madeline's disappearance have been filed against him. In June 2025, German and Portuguese investigators conducted another large-scale search in the Algarve. For 4 days, they searched a location linked to the investigation. Yet these efforts produced no publicly announced breakthrough. More than 19 years have passed. Madeline would now be 23 years old. Yet the last confirmed moment of her life remains unchanged. A 3-year-old girl is sleeping in a resort apartment. Her parents step out for dinner. A short time later, her mother opens the bedroom door. The bed is empty. Madeline is gone. To this day, no one knows what happened between those 2 moments. And most hauntingly, despite an international investigation, thousands of leads, and decades of searching, Madeline has never been found. If you enjoyed this roundup and want to hear more real-life stories that still remain unsolved, hit subscribe and give this video a like. Drop a comment below telling us which of the 8 stories felt the most mysterious to you, and we might just dive deeper into it in our next video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.